Lullaby for the Reign of Sweet Parasites, Chapter 3. Matilda lies there, beneath her blanket of dented mini-blinds, no longer able to sleep, waiting for the warmth that daylight brings. No one sleeps at night anymore, although they try. Too cold, too silent, too much like death. There is already an argument heating up downstairs. The Vietnamese family and their extended group of friends and relations. Too many people under one roof, all full of ideas, but with few resources to carry them out. They leave Matilda out of it. She has convinced the downstairs tenants that the house is hers to watch over in the owner's absence, and she is paid in food for their lodging. The top floor is her domain alone. She keeps to herself there. The Wens see it as a fair exchange for a decent home. They already spent their days roaming the hills in search of the last crumbs of civilization. Matilda doesn't ask for much, and she lets them run the house as their own. But food is becoming scarce. There had been a hot streak for a while. Every now and then they would run across a Mormon house, its pantry loaded with a 2-year supply of goods. Too bad about the families. Too bad they saved it up for nothing, for looters who ransacked their home after they were all dead. The Wens searched through papers for contact lists, addresses of other Mormon families, other houses they could systematically stake a claim to, until all the pantries were finally found and emptied. The Mormons were all long gone by then anyway. They had been together at the temple, together in prayer, when the earthquake pulled the building down around them. Shame about them. Matilda is now wide awake in the dim glow of morning light. Cold. She has kept her distance from the Wens because she can't stand all the voices, all trying to decide what to do next and who should lead, all trying to ignore the losses they've suffered. The truth is, Matilda doesn't want to know anyone else, and she certainly doesn't want to like them. The voices fall on her skin like lashes from a switch, rubbing raw nerves. It makes her wince. It makes her exhausted. It's too soon to have people again, and they aren't the people she wants. Matilda lies in a crumpled heap in the corner. It's not much different when she walks. Her muscles are half atrophied from lack of use. She slumps down in constant pain from the lack of a bed or a chair. All of the precious things she had once taken the greatest care with are gone. Funny how when they dumped out the drawers, she had finally seen the evidence of the family's private lives, what they kept out of view. The flannel shirt that was too worn but held sentimental value. The syrupy, sweet stuffed rabbit with a bent ear and an oversized heart sewn tenderly to its chest that they hated but couldn't throw away because of their love for the giver. All the papers revealing debts, legal problems unresolved, and all of the ways that they were clearly being screwed by the people who were supposed to work for them. The antifungal cream and the sex toys in the bottom drawer. These were all the things Matilda had never cared about as she tended to the surfaces. She didn't stop to wonder about internal landscapes. It would have been more than she could take. She spent hours in the houses she cleaned, living their point of view, and frankly it made her queasy to think about it. How sure they were that they were performing a transaction for a service, and how sure Matilda was that she was performing a small exorcism twice a month. She was grateful to get paid and walk away, but there was a residue that lingered, psychologically. Now almost no imprint remains except that residue. The shirt that was too small was given to the Wen's daughter, Sue. The self-help books and all the latest novels recommended by the New York Times were, of course, used for fuel long ago. Matilda stares out the window again, blank and numb, nearly lifeless. Suddenly, she hears a faint creaking on the steps. The Wens are yelling up the stairs to someone. Matilda's gaze waits upon the doorway until a woman appears. Esther, her friend and mentor, looking just the way Matilda remembers her. Her skin is dark against her white pants and t-shirt. She wears an apron, neatly tied at the waist, with a feather duster peeking out from her back pocket. Her hair, darker and more wiry than it used to be, is styled up and away from her forehead. Esther adjusts her designer glasses and takes inventory of Matilda. "I thought you'd be here." Esther. Matilda's voice cracks. Holy shit. Matilda straightens herself as best she can. She tries to pick herself up to greet Esther, but her strength fails her. Esther walks over to Matilda, who can't help marveling at how clean she is. Tidy. Impossible. What is it? She looks healthy. Matilda touches the stitching on Esther's pants gently, to be sure she is really there. Matilda is ashamed to be seen in that condition, but there she is, filthy, shell-shocked, bent. By the look on Esther's face, she's pretty sure it's worse than she thinks. Matilda looks down at her hands like claws, cracking open at the creases. What are you doing here? I'm making my rounds, checking up on my houses. I knew I'd find you here somewhere. Sorry I took so long. There's a lot of work to be done out there. Matilda's eyes wander to the scattered random objects on the floor. The empty outlets mock her with their big slit eyes. What do you mean work? Honey, we're in a world of mess. Who do you think's going to clean it up? Who cares? We'll all be dead soon. Then why are you here protecting this place? I just needed a place to stay. So this is your house now? Esther asks. Matilda doesn't reply, but sinks her gaze deeper into the mottled carpet. Esther doesn't mean to challenge Matilda, but the shock of Matilda's condition makes Esther restless. She steps out of the room and returns with a garbage bag. Sitting down beside her friend, she takes a deep breath. I brought you something, she says, opening up the bag. It's full of rags, the kind they used to clean houses with every day. Although worn, the rags are clean, as if just pulled out of a hot dryer and stuffed into the bag. Esther begins to fold the square linens, 1/3 folded up from the top, 1/3 folded up from the bottom, 1/3 folded over from the left, and 1/3 folded over from the right, the same way she had done it for years, the same way she taught Matilda when she first recruited her into housekeeping 3 years ago. Matilda steps back, far back inside herself, unable to focus on the folding. Why is she here? Why is she so serene? Is she on a mission? By now, Matilda has met a lot of people who've gone completely stark raving mad somewhere through all the mess. But Matilda is cautiously optimistic that Esther is okay. Frankly, it was hard to tell because Esther's always been kind of a nutcase, always on a mission of some sort or another. She cleans houses as a spiritual practice, visualizing golden light energy in every room of the house. Whatever she does for the levity and betterment of her employers is harmless enough, so no one ever complains. Before Matilda's eyes is now a pile of neatly folded little squares, nostalgic to her by touch and by the specific way Esther taught her to unfold and refold them until all sides are completely used. She's a Southern lady from New Orleans. She can squeeze blood from a turnip. Matilda doesn't understand why, but she knows that Esther will lead her out of that room, and Matilda will follow, as always.